Hello everyone, my name is Daria, welcome back to my channel. And today I am here to bring you guys the second installment in my Adaptation Archives series. Now for those of you who were not here the last time, let me go ahead and explain. It's a fairly simple concept. Basically, I am going to be taking a look at old adaptations, a lot of them from the 2000s and the 2010s. I will be reading the original book that the adaptation is based on, and then watching the film here with you guys. The last time we were here, I struggled to read Lauren Kate's Fallen, and then I struggled once again to get through the adaptation. The Fallen book was bad. There's no other way to explain it. It was bad. But I have to admit there were moments when I was entertained. And that is appreciated, okay? If you're going to be a bad book, a bad piece of media, the very least you can do is be entertaining, you know? However, this time around, I can confirm that the book that I read was both bad and boring as hell. And that is the worst combination that you could possibly be. Beastly by Alex Flynn. I feel like a lot of people, when I put up this poster of the adaptation, you probably recognize it. It probably like tickles the corner of your brain. You're like, oh yeah, I saw like a trailer for that movie, or I watched that movie. However, I don't think that there are many people who have read the book, at least not in my experience. Like, people may know about the movie, but I doubt that anyone even knew it was based on a book. At least I didn't. So, just like last time, I am gonna go ahead and break down this book for you beat by beat. And thankfully, mercifully, this book had the decency to at least be short. So this book opens up on like a chat forum, and I have to say that of all the plot lines in this book, this is the one that bugged me the most. A, because it was confusing, and B, because it was totally unnecessary and literally contributed nothing to the plot. This online forum was created by a researcher of fairy tales and folk tales, and the other members of the forum all claim to be part of some kind of fairy tale. So for example, there's one guy who believes himself to be the Frog Prince and like literally is typing as if he is a frog waiting to be kissed. There's another girl who is saying that she is the Little Mermaid and she's messaging about this guy that she's in love with, but he doesn't know who she is and she wants to be with him, but she's a mermaid. Like, here's the thing that really bugged me about this storyline. Besides the fact that it was completely redundant, we never meet these people, we only see like their chats every once in a while sprinkled throughout the book. The second thing that really bugged me is that I have no idea if this shit was like real or not. Because our main character, who we get to know, Kyle, he is actually like experiencing a curse. He has been cursed. He has turned into a beast. So the whole Beauty and the Beast thing that he's got going on, like, it's real. But I have no idea if the other people in this chat, like, am I meant to assume that they also, like our main character, are actually experiencing a curse, are actually like these characters come to life? Or are they all suffering from some kind of mental illness and this is meant to be like a forum for this researcher and his clients? Like, I don't know. We never get the fucking answer, and it irks me. It bugs me. In the lore of this book, it doesn't really matter, but it matters to me, okay? Anyway, we open up on this forum, and our main character, Kyle, is sort of typing and talking about his experience, and then we flash back to a couple years ago, I believe, and Kyle is like 16 years old, he's in high school, he's hella popular, hella good looking, his dad is like this really well-known news anchor, and Kyle is a bit of a shit. Scratch that, he's a ginormous pile of shit. Like, he's the worst. He's arrogant, he's selfish, he is just mean. Like, he's a straight up bully, and not even like a creative one. Like, the insults that he hurls are so like 2000s teen drama, and not even like a good one. Like something that was produced on Lifetime. Like, if you're gonna be a dick, at least be a creative one. At least have some like good insults. So Kyle is in class, and he just got nominated to be like homecoming king? It's not even homecoming. There's just this random dance that I guess is important to them, and he's now been nominated for the court and whatever. And then this one girl in his class stands up and is like, this is bullshit, this is just like a popularity contest. And then Kyle dismisses her as being, here, hold on, I wrote this down. He basically says she's an ugly fat chick who is jealous. just like a real stand-up gentleman. I can't wait to follow him and be inside his head this entire book. I actually really need to chill out on the sarcasm because I am barely getting started on this guy's fuckery, and if I'm this, like, angry and sarcastic right now, I'm not gonna make it. Later on, Kyle approaches this girl whose name is Kendra, and he, like, apologizes, says that she was right, and then asks her to the dance with him, although obviously his plan is to, like, embarrass her in some way. Which, like, my guy, I thought that you didn't care about her opinion. I thought she was an ugly fat chick who was jealous. So why are you going to such lengths to try to embarrass her? Is it because she was right? He tells her basically to wait outside for me. He lets everybody know that they're going to the dance together, and then he shows up that night with somebody else and just, like, humiliates her in front of everybody. Although the girl Kendra is not really fazed. In fact, she is disappointed. And later on, when they're alone, she reveals to him that she was actually giving him, like, a final chance to prove that he actually had some kind of heart. But he just proved her right, that he is arrogant, that he is mean-spirited, and so she curses him. She turns him into a hairy beast and says that he has 2 years to find someone to love, who will love him back for who he is, and then the curse will be lifted, and if he doesn't find someone to love him during that time, he will stay that way permanently. We all know how this goes. So like I mentioned previously, Kyle's dad is like this big shot news anchor, and you find out very early on that a lot of the reasons why Kyle is the way he is because of his dad. His dad cares a lot about looks, he cares a lot about reputation and how you appear to other people. He's very shallow, he's passed all that on to Kyle, and he also is not really around, so everything that Kyle does, he does to try to get his dad's attention. His dad finds out about the curse, he sees his son, and starts, like, freaking out. He takes him to dermatologists, to doctors, to plastic surgeons, trying to find a way to, you know, make his son look normal again, and obviously nothing works out. Like, Kyle even at one point tries to, like, cut his own skin off. It was pretty gruesome for, like, a YA paranormal fantasy romance, whatever you want to call this. Like, it was a little, you know, dark, and the skin just, like, regrows and it's hairy again. You know, he tries shaving, that doesn't work, so no matter what he tries to do cosmetically, he's gonna stay that way. Kyle then gets it in his head to invite his, like, old on-again, off-again girlfriend named Sloane over, and he, like, turns off all the lights and has her, like, hang out with him and, like, kiss him, and he confesses his love, and she says it back, and he's hoping, obviously, that this will reverse the curse, but nothing ends up happening. In fact, Sloane even ends up seeing him and just totally dismisses him and runs away. Kyle then discovers a mirror that is placed under his pillow, through which he can communicate with Kendra, and he can also call anyone's name and see exactly where they are and what they're up to. So when this mirror was introduced, this was about the point in the book where I got really fed up and started questioning whether or not I could even continue reading it, because if this is meant to be a retelling, then why are you following every single plot line of the original fairy tale beat by beat? Like, in my mind, a really interesting thing a retelling can do is take recognizable characters or recognizable storylines and then twist them in a way that they seem familiar, yet also, like, new and innovative. And as I was reading this, I just started getting, like, so annoyed. Like, if I wanted to read Beauty and the Beast, the fairy tale, the original one, is right fucking there. Or I could watch the fucking Disney movie. Whichever one. It would be better than this. Anyway, Kyle finds this mirror, and he says his girlfriend, Sloane's name, and finds her making out with his previous best friend. And then he starts, like, flipping through his school yearbook and just calling out people's names and seeing, like, what the hell they're up to, like some freaky voyeur. And eventually he lands on the name of this girl named, oh god, I always want to say Linda. It's Lindy. And he recognizes this girl because back at that dance at the start of the book, he basically got this, like, white rose corsage for his girlfriend, and she hated it, and then he saw Lindy and just, like, gave her the rose, and she really liked it, and, like, whatever. He happens upon her and sort of, you know, becomes interested. He sees her reading a book, and then also sees her taking care of her father, who looks pretty sickly, and he, every single day, finds himself calling her name and watching her through this mirror, and as I'm saying this right now, it's really fucking creepy. So eventually Kyle's dad buys this like house in Brooklyn and wants to keep Kyle there indefinitely. He doesn't really want Kyle to be like associated with him in any way. So he has him live there with 2 people for company. Number 1 being a housekeeper who goes by the name of Magda. And then he also hires a tutor named Will. And Will is blind. So both Magda and Will are going to be living in the house, and they're going to be the only people that Kyle has any, like, way to talk to. Like, the only people who are going to be in Kyle's life. Now, here's the thing. When Will comes on the scene, Kyle very quickly respects him. He very quickly cares about his opinion, listens to him. So this white man shows up and immediately gains Kyle's respect. And yet Magda, whom Kyle has known for longer, he treats this woman of color like shit. Like dirt under his foot. The amount of like racist remarks he will make about her and to her face, it was disgusting. And this is the kid that I'm meant to root for. This is the dude that I am meant to believe will go through some kind of transformation. So a couple months go by, and on Halloween night, Kyle decides to sneak out of the house. And he figures, it's Halloween. If people see me in this, like, beast I say get up, but that's just like how he looks. They're going to assume when they see him that it is just a costume that he's wearing. So he takes the opportunity, he sneaks out, he goes to this like random party at a high school, and he ends up talking to and dancing with this girl there. And they have, like a bit of something going on, they're vibing, and when they're dancing, the girl basically assumes that he's wearing a mask and starts asking him, like, can you take that off so I can see you? And she even tries to like tug on his face a bit, and he like freaks the fuck out. This was like the one point in the book that I was kind of interested in what was gonna happen, because the way that him and this girl were talking, I was legitimately like, oh, like, is he not gonna go for Lindy? Like, it seemed like they were really building that up, but he has, good rapport with this other girl. Is, like, are we gonna, like, do something new, something innovative? Is he gonna go for the girl that we weren't obviously expecting? And of course, that's not what happened. I don't know why I got my hopes up. I don't know why I thought this book could do anything besides be painfully bad and boring. The 2 B's that you never want to be. So at this point in the story, after that night and what went down, Kyle starts to become, like, maybe halfway decent of a person and starts being, decent to Magda. Like, he has basic fucking human decency and table manners for once in his life. He also finds out that Magda apparently lives alone in the US, and she periodically will send money back to her family, and specifically to her kids. And, look, Kyle is now capable of basic empathy. He feels kind of bad for her that she's alone. I literally, what's funny is, like, Magda seems like this, like, kind of, like, background character, this character who, like, really shouldn't matter, but I care so much about her, okay? I am so invested in her, and I hate the way that Kyle treats her and talks about her. Like, why is it that the second Will step through that threshold, you care about his opinion, you listen to his advice, you respect him, but Magda, who is nothing but nice to you, who does nothing but take care of your sorry, selfish, spoiled ass. My lisp just went crazy there. Like, why does she get none of this respect? So Kyle then tells Kendra that he wants to add some stipulations to their deal. So if he manages to lift the curse, she will also ensure that Magda's kids can now come visit her and live with her, and that she also makes sure that Will gets his sight back. And here's the thing. I feel like, Kyle, that's not your place. That's not your place to determine. That's not your choice to make. A couple nights later, Kyle wakes up to hear some noise from outside, and he goes out and finds someone breaking into his greenhouse that he's been curating alongside Will. And all of the roses that he planted have been destroyed by this guy. So he gets really upset and threatens this dude, and then discovers that it is Lindy's father. And Lindy's dad ends up just, like, rattling off a bunch of things, offering them to Kyle in exchange for him not, reporting him for breaking and entering, and also for having drugs on him. And then eventually, he says that he'll give Kyle his daughter. This guy just sold his daughter to a stranger. What the hell is going on? What is going on? What was in the water in the 2000s? What is happening? And then it manages to get worse. I know. You did not see that coming. I did not see that coming. But it gets worse, let me tell you. Because Kyle agrees. And then he starts, like, sprucing up the house. to be nice for her when she arrives. He, like, clears out an entire floor of the house for her and is, like, putting books on the shelves and, like, rearranging the room to look like her bedroom back at her old house. Because remember, he's been spying on her through that mirror for a long time. He knows, you know, what kind of decor she's into. I cannot believe this. So bad. And you know what's even worse? The adults in the house, Will and Magda, are going along with this. Magda is buying food that she thinks Lindy might like. Will is, like, giving Kyle advice on how to talk to Lindy. Like, I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. Kyle even has the fucking audacity to stand there and say, I'm not kidnapping her. I'm just taking her away from the bad situation. And also, her dad gave her to me. So I'm not really doing anything wrong here. Also justifies it in his own head, and then I imagine this is also, like, the author trying to talk through Kyle to reassure us, the reader, that, you know, this is perfectly okay. Kyle thinks to himself that she's better off staying here than with her drug-addicted, drug-dealing father. I don't know what you want me to, I don't know what you want me to say. I have nothing to say. So Lindy arrives not too long after. Her dad ditches her there. Poor girl. Honestly, like, I feel so bad for Lindy. Like, can you imagine? Lindy obviously wants nothing to do with Kyle, very rightfully so. But of course, because Kyle is a little pissy baby, he can't take that, you know, this kind of rejection from Lindy, whom he saved, and who is going to have such a great life away from her father because of Kyle. How could she not be appreciative of him? Like, the audacity of this girl. Will then tells him to stop being so prideful, go to her, apologize, and try to have some semblance of a relationship on her terms. Which, you know, I would say is, like, good advice if she wasn't in the position of being trapped there. Like, her dad literally sold her to this guy, like, gave her up to this guy in exchange for his silence. So, you know, good advice for a normal fucking relationship. Not for this, though. A couple nights later, after Lindy arrives, Kyle is sitting in the living room, and all the lights are off for some reason. Don't ask me why, I can't remember for the life of me. And Lindy comes downstairs to the fridge to get something to eat, and they end up seeing each other for the first time. They meet face to face. And, you know, I really thought that this was going to be something, that we were going to get some kind of, like, climactic meeting, but literally it's like, it's nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. Like, you blink and you miss this scene. How does this not pack more of an emotional punch? I mean, not that I would have any emotional reaction to it anyway, even if it was written in this really, like, profound, gripping way, but, like, you didn't even try? It's not a question. You didn't try. Lindy is not at all, like, taken aback by his appearance. Like, she gets over it with a swiftness. And then they start, like, these tutoring sessions, and they start, like, getting close to one another, and, like, I don't know. I don't care. Let's move on. I am so, like, I'm trying so hard to make this story interesting. I really am with this recap. I'm trying my hardest to, like, be entertaining for you guys. But this book sucked the life out of me. Like, I cannot overstate, how boring this book is. So one day, Kyle and Lindy travel up to the first floor of the house where Kyle used to spend a lot of his time when he first arrived at this house. He spent a lot of time up there just, like, moping, sulking, being stuck and alone and really depressed. So he hasn't been back up there since. But he goes up there with Lindy, and Lindy ends up talking to him about his favorite book, which is Jane fucking Eyre. I don't know how many times I've mentioned this on my channel, but it bears repeating. I don't like Jane Eyre. I'm very interested in, like, the scholarly criticism and the ways that people have interpreted this book, but I do not like the book. Like, as a standalone story on its own, I would never choose to read it. And the way that Lindy especially talks about this book is wrong. She says that the book is about how if two people are meant to be together, they will always find a way, no matter the obstacles. Oh my god! She's saying this about Jane fucking Eyre. In case you haven't read Jane Eyre, or just want a refresher, the obstacle that Lindy is talking about, the obstacle to Jane and Rochester's love, is the fact that he is already married and was still perfectly willing to marry Jane and commit bigamy without her knowing. And on top of that, he locked his wife, his mentally ill wife, in an attic and treated her like an animal. That's not an obstacle, bitch. That's not an obstacle, okay? It's not like they were in a long-distance fucking relationship, or, you know, maybe he was already engaged to someone else who's a total dick. Like, this is not... He was married and was an abusive piece of shit to his first wife. Don't talk to me about it. Don't talk to me about it. I'm getting really angry. I'm fucking sweating. But you know what? I take it back. I take it back because I think that for this story, in which Lindy is handed over to some stranger who's been stalking her, I think that her favorite book being Jane Eyre actually works pretty well. I think that, you know, these two relationships, Rochester and Jane, and Kyle and Lindy, both fucked up. Both majorly fucked up and really scary. So you know what? Maybe it's fitting that Lindy and her, you know, favorite book is Jane Eyre. You know, maybe this author is operating on levels that I just can't understand. Anyway, I cannot believe I spent that long ranting about Jane Eyre. Oh man, I'm gonna have to cut so much of that down. Let's actually talk about the book at hand, okay? Beastly. Let's get back to that. Kyle and Lindy end up finding this, like, old vintage dress in a trunk, and Lindy puts it on. Blah, blah, blah. They're dancing. Blah, blah, blah. They end up talking. I don't know how they got on this topic of conversation. I, for the life of me, could not tell you. But eventually, Lindy ends up telling her about this guy who she really liked, who gave her a white rose at a dance, and she kept that rose and, you know, pressed it into a book of hers, and she always cherished it. And yes, she's talking about Kyle, to Kyle, whom, by the way, oh my god, I cannot believe I didn't mention this. Kyle changed his name to Hunter. No, not Hunter. That's from the movie. He actually changed his name to Adrian, so Lindy knows him in his beast form as Adrian. Sorry. Anyway, so she talks to Adrian, who is really Kyle, about Kyle, and then Kyle, this is getting really confusing, Kyle, you know, recognizes that she's talking about him. And it's in this moment that Kyle suddenly does, like, a 180. And is just so thankful that he went through that transformation because he realizes that he loves Lindy. And that this transformation helped him realize that he should love, not in a shallow way, but should appreciate people, you know, for more than how they look. And he's just, you know, he would not want to go back to how it used to be and how he used to look. And when I say this came out of nowhere, this came out of nowhere. Like, in the length of, like, a page, in, like, 2 paragraphs, he had this, like, entire personality change and, like, worldview change. It was so jarring. And, like, once again, I don't know what this author has against, like, a slow burn. I don't know what she has against actually, like, drawing out these important moments. Like, she totally skimmed over them seeing each other for the first time. She's skimming over and, like, blasting through this, like, the climax of this book, when he, like, recognizes, you know, what he's done wrong and how he's been living his life, you know? And he, you know, becomes a better person, whatever. I don't believe that he is, but, you know, that's the story that you're going with, fine. Then why are you, like, just, like, fast-forwarding, like, 2 times speed through this shit? The next thing that happens, and I honestly forget how we end up here, but trust me when I say it doesn't fucking matter. Kyle realizes his love for Lindy. He sends her back to live with her father because he doesn't want to keep her there against her will. And then one night, he somehow, like, hears her screaming for him, like she's yelling his name, and some way or another he hears it. Kyle ends up using the magic mirror to find out where Lindy is, and he sees her being held at gunpoint by somebody. So he tears into the city after her. Then he gets mobbed by a bunch of people who see him and are like, I think they think he's some kind of animal, so they're trying to put him down. He gets stabbed by somebody. No idea who. He saves Lindy. He's dying in her arms. And then, of course, they confess their love. And the curse is lifted. And his wound is also magically healed. Fine. You know what? Fine. If it's gonna get me to the end of this book, whatever. So the curse is now lifted. Hooray! And Kyle and Lindy are together, and Will can now see, and Magda, oh my god, hold on, I forgot about this. Oh shit. This is the funniest and the dumbest thing I have ever read in a book in my life. Magda turns out to be Kendra, the witch in disguise. I know I've said this so many times before, but I was done. At this point, I was done. And thank God, the book was also done. When this book ended, when my audiobook finally ran those end credits, I literally felt the weight of the world fall off my shoulders. Like, I've never been so relieved in my life. For a book that claims to be, and I guess is, a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, which is a fairy tale all about, you know, not judging appearances, not taking people based on face value. This book managed to be so profoundly shallow. And because of that, I found that I truly could not care about anything in this book. You know, I am actually strangely excited to watch this movie. Number one, for like pure nostalgia purposes. I remember when this movie came out. I remember going to see it in theaters. Another reason I'm looking forward to watching this film is simply because it has to be better than the book. I refuse to believe that it's going to be worse. In fact, I believe that the filmmakers would have had to actively try, like their damnedest, to make this movie worse than the book. I'm super excited. Can't wait to revisit this moment of my childhood and self-insert as Vanessa Hudgens' character. So let's do it. Too good. This song is too good. Hit me.
Look at me, what you looking at? Look at me, what you staring at? Vanity, it's so good to breathe. Happiness and glamorous, we love ourselves and no one else. Vanity.
True or false? You are an aggressively unattractive person. Hatch a face, face shape. Face like burnt Lego? Or did you only just miss the beauty bowl? Any which way, best embrace the suck. Beautiful people get it better. That's just the way it is.
People aren't really cheering for this, are they? What the fuck does that even mean? Can you give me a textbook definition of what embracing the suck means? There's no fucking way that they're having this big of like an assembly for student council positions in high school, especially for the Green Committee. No one gives a fuck. Like, I promise you, no one gives a fuck. I remember voting for student council in my school, and I didn't even know half the people's names. I just checked whichever last name I thought sounded cool. Is that a poor reflection on me and my voting habits? Probably. But to be fair, I was 15. This is like one of those scenes that could really only happen in a film. They had cardboard cutouts of his face. Like, never in my life can I imagine caring so much about some random fucking guy in my school.
But I think we're all hoping that in the privacy of the voting booth, your bandwagoners will stop fearing for their social lives and make the right choice. Oh, and might I just add, wow, looks are important to you.
They're important to everyone, except you, clearly.
People like people who look good. Anyone who says otherwise is either dumb or ugly.
Who's Joe?
I told you about her.
I don't think so. And I know this because the last time we had a conversation that lasted more than 5 minutes was in sophomore year.
I hear you. Why don't you leave me alone?
Poor little baby doesn't get attention from his daddy, and that's why he's such a massive dick. Tale as old as time.
What?
Nothing. Say goodnight.
Why, you just need to get home to your 16 children?
And there's the racism. Great. Great. Love it. Love it.
I got 2 Green Party VIP dance passes. Scores you green room access, that kind of thing. You want one?
What's the catch?
No catch.
So I'd be like, going with you?
Yeah.
And only idiots screw with witches. Careful now.
I'm sorry, she looks like 35, roaming around school in her fucking stilettos.
Got to slave her all night?
Slaving all year.
Work study?
Yeah, I'm saving for the Machu Picchu trip.
Ah.
But my shift's almost over.
Just in time for the real fun.
Yeah, right.
She blows it off. Too cool for school.
What can I say? I'm substance sober style.
A dying breed.
It's never too late to join.
Then when we drove our hearse right through that screaming crowd, until it got so warm that none of us could sleep.
He plays the character well enough to inject him with some kind of charm that is severely lacking when you're stuck inside his head while reading the book.
You actually bought it. You bought that I'd hook up with you? The self-mutilated, tatted Frankenstein who publicly humiliated me and almost cost me the election? No dice, sunshine.
I only came to give you a second chance.
Guess I blew it.
I guess so. But Kyle, best embrace the suck. You have a year to find someone to love you before the tree blooms again. And either the words "I love you" will release you from the spell, or stay like this forever.
Wait, what?
It's really not that bad. It's like, really, it's not. In the book, I feel like it was just too on the nose and too similar to the original fairy tale, and I wanted some kind of like innovation and something new. This is something new in that he's not a hairy beast, but at the same time, you know, he still is pretty good looking. And, you know, people have tattoos that look like this. People have done body modifications that are more intense than this. And I feel like they kind of did this on purpose and didn't want to go with the whole hairy beast thing because they wanted to keep him still, like, slightly attractive. I don't know. There are reasons to like it, this new direction they went in, and then reasons to kind of like side-eye it. If anything, it's just a shame that, you know, his hair's gone because he had some good fucking hair. Okay, so I accidentally lost the footage of these next few minutes of the film, so I'm just going to voice over and explain to you guys what the heck went down. So Kyle shows up at his old high school and there's a Halloween party. He runs into Kendra and he begs her to take back the curse, and she refuses to do so. And then that's when he runs into Lindy. And the things that Lindy says in these next few minutes, like, I'm going to need this girl to stand up.
You know that guy they're talking about? They're way off. Personally, I respect that he called things as he saw them, even if he did see them wrong.
When I heard Lindy say this, I guffawed, because what the hell are you talking about? This man, this boy, did not call things out as they are. He was not, you know, some incredible truth teller or whatever. Like, he was a dick. Like, he was a bully. He was mean. Also, if the message of this movie is that Kyle should be a better person and that Lindy, you know, the so-called Beauty and the Beast storyline, like, Belle is not supposed to like the Beast when he's being a dick. Like, she is supposed to call him out when he's doing terrible things. But if Lindy already liked Kyle back when he was an asshole, then what is the message supposed to be here? Moving right along, Kyle continues to show that he is the worst because he starts, like, stalking Lindy. And, you know, looking back at romance movies of the 2010s, you really start to realize that a lot of the behavior that we've romanticized is just straight up criminal behavior. Like, he's stalking her, and it's really not cute. And then this stalking thing that he has going on leads to him one night seeing her father commit a crime. Her father murders somebody in front of him. And what is Kyle's response to this? You may ask. Well, let's go ahead and take a look.
I want her. I want to protect her. I can protect her. If she leaves, cops will get these.
Let's break this down, shall we? So in the book, he catches her father committing a crime on his property, breaking in. Her father offers up her in order for Kyle not to press charges. And then in this scenario, he blackmails her father with evidence of a murder he committed so that he can have Lindy to himself and keep her close to him. Which horribly manipulative, terrible, just like, not even borderline criminal, just like straight up criminal behavior is not as bad as the other, and I can't decide because they're both terrible. I did not remember this part of the movie. I was so convinced that, like, they were gonna somehow sidestep this, but who am I kidding? I should have seen this coming, but my hopes were too high, and they were just dashed. So, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's not fine, like, objectively and ethically and morally it's not, but I need it to be fine in order to get through the rest of this film.
I got you food.
I'm sorry, I don't like the music that's playing in the background. It's like this kind of like humorous kind of music, and I don't like it. I don't like it. This is not funny, and like it's not funny. It's not funny. Why are we playing this off for laughs? This poor girl. I feel bad for her.
You're doing what? Saying if I can build a greenhouse. She's very into roses. Each color means something different, you know?
Yeah. Well, they all kind of mean I'm the guy who cries at chick flicks and sleeps with stuffed animals.
Okay, hold on. This movie is about to make me defend the book. I cannot believe this. 1 second. The one thing that I can kind of, maybe if I really tried, praise the book for is that there was a good relationship between Will and Kyle. And Will was the one who actually introduced Kyle to, like, the greenhouse. They built it together. They both got really into, like, botany together. Like, it was this shared thing between them. And they had this really strong, like, mentorship relationship. And it makes me sad that they don't have that in this film. Like, the way that he said that to him about chick flicks and basically making fun of him for wanting to do something I guess you could deem sensitive. I don't know how gardening became synonymous with femininity and sensitivity, but whatever. I also liked that, you know, the greenhouse and the flowers were something that Kyle was kind of, like, doing a bit for himself. But now they've made it all about his pursuit of Lindy. And I don't know. I don't like that as much. I cannot believe this movie really made me compliment the book. This is what I've come to.
So are we ever gonna, like, really meet?
Mm-hmm.
Like now?
No.
Okay.
Do you, miss school? Because, I have classes if you want to come.
Yes. I'd love to. Well, I guess good night then.
Hold on.
The big reveal.
Pretty gruesome, huh?
I've seen worse.
I've seen worse.
I remember that line. It's not that bad! How many times am I gonna have to keep coming to this? It is really pretty, though. Like, really. And it only took him, like, a couple weeks? The fuck? I mean, I guess there's not anything else to do.
Long time green thumb?
No. Actually, my dad stuck me in this house so no one could see me. And I thought I'd take the ugly and shameful thing and turn it into something not.
Why is he such a dick? It's not even funny. It's not even funny. I am of the firm opinion that Neil Patrick Harris makes everything better. But I do not appreciate his character in this, okay? Why? Why is he such a dick when this guy is attempting to be vulnerable? Like, I don't even like this dude. And I don't appreciate this. Like, why? Why are we doing this? Because it's not... You're not funny. You're not funny.
Looks-wise, it doesn't suck.
Oh, he knew it too. The same old jerks are exciting my type falls from.
Did you fall for it?
Not that I fell for it. You know, the truly ridiculous thing is I might have kind of sort of actually thought he a little bit liked me. Ish.
Of course he did.
Please. Something about him.
What?
Yeah, girl, what?
Underneath all the bullshit
Was more bullshit.
I don't know. Good.
Good?
I can't, girl.
Right. He's a decent guy at heart.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, there's something underneath. It's catnip for sappy tools like me.
At least she's self-aware.
To be the one who uncovers it.
You're not gonna uncover shit. Okay? You're not gonna uncover shit. He's just a dick. He was mean. Like, in real life, you try to uncover, you try to peel back the layers, and it's just more bullshit. I'm a romantic at heart. I sure am. But this is delusion. This is pure delusion.
Do you want to go somewhere with me?
Oh my god, this song. Yes, let's go. Oh no, come on. I was about to sing it. There is a light. Let's go. In your eyes, in your eyes.
When I was in kindergarten, my dad offered to take me anywhere I wanted. We came to the zoo. He bought me all the toys and candy I wanted. And at the end of the day, he told me my mother had left. After he told me, I ran away and hid in here and saw this movie.
That's rough, buddy.
It's about this mother elephant whose 2 babies die. She misses them so much. And when she's migrating back,
That's so awkward. Look at her face. Like, just gonna trauma dump on her. And then look at a video of elephants. Great. Now you're talking about the elephants dying? Oh no.
can you imagine that love?
Oh no.
Maybe I should let her go. At least she'll be safe in Machu Picchu.
She has been jonesing for that trip forever, even without being stuck here.
But every day she like you more and more.
But not the way I like her.
And of course now she's gonna choose to stay because she's so moved by him and his stalkerish behavior and weird trauma dumping. Do you pretend to wake up? This movie is unintentionally very funny. Like, and it doesn't come from Neil Patrick Harris, who is obviously meant to be the comic relief. Like, just little things like this. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for the laugh. I needed it.
I've been writing something for you.
What is it?
A letter.
Bitch, you didn't even catch her! She's on the ground! Do you see what I mean? Unintentionally hilarious.
My father OD'd.
You have to go to
Well,
it.
I'm not gonna say anything about that. That's rough. And now it's his turn to let her go. Because of that, he will truly have understood the meaning of this curse and the purpose of what he's gone through. That he can finally put someone else's needs above his own.
You're a good friend.
Oh, yikes. Oh, no. That was so bad. Oh, that was so bad. I have nothing to say.
Dear Lindy, I've been thinking about letters recently and how it's terrible that nobody's writing them anymore. And so I decided to start one to you today. And I'm gonna write to you every day for a long time. Because I think I might be in danger of falling in love with you.
Lindy, I had to see you before you left.
You wrote me that letter.
I know.
And then you didn't call me back.
I'm sorry.
You knew what was going on with me.
I was being dumb.
Yeah, Hunter.
I just was scared that you didn't
Didn't what?
love me. When I'm around you, I don't feel ugly at all.
It's because you're not.
That's what I've been saying. The fuck?
Attention all students. The Machu Picchu bus is leaving.
Did he just stand there? He did not kiss her, like, not make a move to kiss her back. Oh, that's awkward.
Hunter. I love you.
Bitch, you've known each other for how long? And he was your kidnapping. You know what? Let me not. Good for them. Good for them.
Hunter! Kyle!
Gold, they're wearing the same outfit! Let's put 2 and 2 together.
Then you believe the story I'm about to tell you.
Yes,
It's about a guy, good looking on the outside, ugly on the inside. And there's a curse. Love changes him.
everyone knows that story.
It's about to get real cheesy up in here. Hold on.
Can you imagine that love?
It's a callback to the previous scene. Ooh, ooh.
It's you.
Yes, it's him. Okay, yes, we've established this. Good for them. Good for them.
Mr. Kingston, your new...
Oh my god, wait, I love this ending.
But her reference said no matter what you throw her way, she can always work her magic.
The stiletto heels. Love it. I think she might be my favorite character, like, honestly. So, what have we learned? Nothing. Nothing. I don't know what there is to learn from this film and this book, because I feel like they really strove to, like, you know, paint this picture, send this message of, you know, what's on the inside matters more than the outside. And, you know, I think it's not a bad message for, like, a fairy tale to tell young kids, you know, but it's also just, like, so cliche and overdone and not delivered in a good way in either of these mediums. I don't feel like I'm personally any more or less shallow than when I started this video. When comparing the book versus the movie, I would have to say, like I predicted, the movie wins, hands down. You know, it has its moments of comedy that I don't think were even that intentional, and most of them came from Alex Pettyfer's character, Kyle, which I was not expecting. Vanessa Hudgens was there, because let's be honest, this movie is not about her. It's about Kyle, and it's about using her as a tool for Kyle to become a better person and fall in love. Also, she, like, she's delusional. I'm sorry, and I actually feel bad for her. Like, the fact that she even liked him when he was that much of a dick, like, I can't save you. Save yourself. Like, I'll throw you the life preserver, you have to, you know, grab onto it yourself. There's nothing I can do for you. Here's the thing. However Kyle looked, whether he looks like he did in the movie or he was, you know, a big, scary, hairy beast like he was in the books, it didn't matter because, you know, in the end, he's gonna be ugly because he's a kidnapper. So that is it for me today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Go ahead and let me know if you have read this book, watched this movie, done both, what you think of it, looking back on it now. Also, go ahead and recommend me any other, like, adaptation archives, you know, old YA books turned films, or maybe not even YA. Any, like, older book that was adapted that you feel like people don't talk about enough, I will put it on my list and hopefully get to it. If you guys want to find me or follow me anywhere else, all those links will be down below. I love you all very dearly, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!